Hello and welcome to another episode of Fragging with me, Aina, and my co-host Christoph. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 4.
Damn, episode 4 already.
I know, it's a surprise, isn't it? Wow, who knew we'd get here? Not
Really?
me.
Well, it is actually just like 4 weeks.
A month, exactly, I know. But still, I'm surprised that we got here. Yeah, damn.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about lockdown and why it is shite. Like, obviously, we understand that it is helping people and it's trying to keep people safe, let's be honest. But that doesn't mean that it makes us happy.
Well, it makes me happy because I don't have to go to school.
Yeah, but it makes me unhappy because I don't get to see my friends.
What friends?
Wow, you really had to do me like that. You really had to do me like that. Here, I'm gonna better list them out. Peep boop, peep boop. Nah, even if I did, y'all wouldn't hear that shit.
1. Team Snapchat. 2. Snapchat code. 3.
Oh, wow. Wow. That honestly hits me right in the feels, bro.
Bath. In the face.
I'm gonna punch your face in the face.
So,
Alright,
quarantine.
yes, quarantine. Oh,
Everyone
wow.
hates it, except me. Well,
Yeah, I was gonna say except for the intellectual people, and then Christoph just goes, yeah, himself. Tee hee hee.
funny. Anyway, so actually, oh fuck, I don't exactly remember.
Oh,
I was gonna say something. Damn, guess my RAM is just bad.
I've just been. So yeah, over lockdown, I've been doing pretty much nothing with my life. I made a little BMX track in my back garden, but I made that ages ago, and yeah, it's a struggle to actually get the motivation to do anything. Though I am thinking of starting a workout, like a proper workout routine tomorrow, and I'll keep you guys posted on how that's going.
So in this workout, do you do it once a day, twice a day, 3 times in the morning, in the evening? How do you have it set up?
So it's like I think four, no, maybe
Um... Anna, are you still there?
did you catch any of that? My thing
Nope.
lagged. Oh wow.
I heard absolutely nothing.
I said it's high intensity interval training, so it's sort of um like a minute on, a minute off, for I think about an hour, and then it's 5 days a week. And it focuses on like different parts of your body each day.
Or the way you've got it so planned out, did you get like an app or something?
It was actually one of the options on the Samsung Health app. I was going through that today because I was on a walk and then my Samsung Health came up and was like, "Hey, we detected 17 minutes of walking," even though I'd been walking for an hour and a quarter. Um, so then I went, "Oh, that's cool." So I checked out the app. Turns out they've added loads of new features in the new last few updates. I haven't really been looking at Samsung Health. So yeah, you can like count all your food, you can do all this, and then they have like workout and like training routines. They just have them on the app. So I have this one set up and it's going to give me a reminder if I don't do it, which I think is very good because I'm forgetful. But once I get into the routine of it, I feel like I'll actually like it a lot. Because I remember at the start of the like original lockdown, like last April, I was doing this push-up challenge, and it was like what 100 push-ups a day, and it was very fun. Because by the end of it, you get to see the results, you know?
Push-ups. I like those. Haha. I'm
Whoop whoop.
basically no, I'm doing something like that, except it's also like an app, and basically you have it gives you like I actually really like it. It's quite popular. I forget the name. It's something generic, but it has like a workout, and you can choose all these different things like full body. Do you want to lose fat? Do you want to build up, your core? Do you want to build up your
Oh
upper
yeah.
body, your lower body? What do you want to do? And then you can go in the options. So first of all, I just went like, well, my whole body because why not? Although I've changed my mind since, so I'm going to finish the first one. But then it goes there, then it does the first workout, which is literally like 8 minutes, and then it asks you like, okay, what do you think? Do you want it a little harder, a little easier, or well, was it easier? Was it harder? And then it like it sets up the next two like weeks of the month a bit harder, and then slowly as like build yourself up, it gets harder and harder. So like now the workouts are like half an hour, because they add a bunch of exercises. Although at the moment I'm doing the wrong one because I want to get those big arms, which is quite hard. And like the weights I have are pathetic. So I don't know. And I was looking at getting, those not dumbbells, but what are the ones called? It's like a long bar.
A barbell.
And yeah, barbell, yeah. But they're really expensive.
I'm
So that's
pretty sure
quite
there are some cheap options out there, but I haven't actually done any looking into it because we have like adjustable dumbbells here, so you can go from like I think the bar is like maybe a kilo, and then you can add on small weight, the medium weight, the big weight all together, a combination of the three. So it goes all the way up from I think 1 to 10 kilos each dumbbell. So yeah, you can get a lot done with that.
it's funny though
And
because
then if you want to, oh, sorry, yeah.
no, you can keep going.
Okay, I'll just finish this, and then if you want to make it even heavier, you can like add ones from, say, the left side onto the right one, and then just use that as one heavier one and do it one arm each time. Yeah. So you were saying, Christoph?
Well, I actually found it did kind of really get me into that, but what I actually like is I think a lot more muscle intensive, and obviously you're not going to do it every day, but if you did, is literally just shoveling. Like when I was digging out our neighbor's pond, I realized that like shoveling fucking dirt is like quite effective.
Funny, Christoph. I never would have noticed that after digging my BMX track for like 4 months. Because I had to dig, I had to wheelbarrow, I had to like beat the dirt down so that it would be like compacted. Yeah,
Beat
there was
down.
a lot of work in that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I honestly feel like I should have time-lapse videoed it because I feel like it would have looked really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Those kind of things often look quite goes on TikTok. TikToker now.
No,
And then
because
play
the
play one of those songs. Oh.
Oh wow. It's ironic. We were beginning by talking about why lockdown is shit, but then we ended up talking about workouts. But I guess this is what happens in a conversation, let's be honest. It doesn't always stay on topic. So yeah, lockdown. We think bad for mental health. It's obviously good for like population, COVID, health. Don't get the virus. That would be bad. Don't give it to vulnerable people. That's also bad. But also, yeah, try not to contract mental illnesses from loneliness and sadness, because that would be also bad.
I feel like that's the like main one. Like
I feel
the
like, oh yeah,
there you go.
all right. Like I feel like in our generation, that's definitely the one that's hitting home more because our generation isn't in danger from the actual virus itself.
Yeah.
We're just in danger from like,
Stupidity.
well, yes, but also, but that would happen with if it was here or not. We feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're definitely more susceptible to like anxiety and depression and that because we're still developing our like social awareness and our like basically our entire brain is still developing. So it's easy to sort of slip into something like that, you know?
Definitely. But I feel like also okay, well, we were just talking about TikTok, but I think a huge part of a lot of like teenagers or this generation, so that could literally be 20, 25, 30 year olds, we're all in the same
Yeah.
generation, is TikTok. Because I noticed that, especially during the first lockdown during summer, TikTok was going like, I found that was the first time I got TikTok. Well, I actually had TikTok on my phone like before, but I never really looked at it. And then I really started like going on TikTok. It was around the whole George Floyd thing. And I'd
Oh
go on
yeah.
TikTok and watch all these big like rallies and scraps on the streets, and like that's I think where not just for me but for like other people, TikTok really blew up. Because there's a like podcast that I listen to called Impulsive, and they're also at that point, talking about TikTok and like they were getting TikTokers coming on their show and all these things. So TikTok definitely was, blowing up.
Yeah. And I feel like also that's another thing. Like you see all these people managing to do stuff and like maybe meet their friends or go have fun or do something or find something interesting to fill their time. And then if we see that and then we're just all like at home doing nothing, it may also make us feel, oh, I'm doing nothing. I'm like maybe worthless or something like that, which is just, it's just not fun. Luckily, I don't actually have TikTok, so I don't have to deal with that. I just get the generic TikToks that get put onto my Instagram feed.
Oh yay, the really bad ones because most of the time they're
Exactly,
not.
because it's obviously because it's not set up to my personal algorithm like yours is. Christoph
Yeah,
is my TikTok. What's the word?
dealer.
Dealer. That's the one. I was gonna say donor, but that doesn't sound right because we often look at similar things online. So yeah, he sends me the funniest TikToks.
Funniest TikToks in town.
Some
Yeah.
Star Wars related, some just just exactly on our humor, like sense of humor. I was gonna say humor level, and I'm like, what even is a humor level?
No, the best one I think was, well, Star Wars related was, do you know the one with the dancing Darth Vader?
That I knew you were gonna say that, and that's the exact one that I thought of when you said when I said, "Oh, Christoph's my TikTok dealer," because that is that was just on the money. If you haven't seen it, it's I don't know what song's behind it. I haven't actually seen it in over a month, but it's I think it's like a Katy Perry song, honestly, but it's like a Darth Vader. and he's like force choking someone, and then the beat drops, and then he starts just like dancing, and it's like RGB flashing lights, and oh, it's just so funny, so funny.
Yeah, but I find now TikTok is starting to get all controversial. Like my feed is full of stuff that pisses people off, and it's yeah, quite quite. I don't know.
Doesn't stop you from sending them to certain people.
Yeah, but I feel like the hype is over. It's not as interesting anymore. It's just kind of like yeah, you know.
Mm.
Because I remember booting it up and be like, "Ooh, what's gonna be on here?" Now it's like, "Yeah, give me some important information," you know. Don't waste my time.
I'm looking for important information. Goes on TikTok.
The thing is, mine are mostly full of like actual information. Like there's this one guy who gives you a minute report of geopolitics around the world. It's really funny. It's like this week on geopolitics, and he goes to wherever. You know, it's really interesting.
That's why I honestly really like the stuff that I watch on YouTube because, like, okay, I do have some guys who are like joking around and some guys who do it for like the jokes. Like, I have this one gaming channel that just, it's not even about the game, it's just because he's super funny and the way he commentates is just super funny. But then most of the content that I end up watching, it's like sort of science or like it's like bikes content, but it's not just watching people do super cool stuff. It's like them sort of talking about it and like almost teaching you some of the things. So I do feel like I'm learning some, and especially with all the science content, like I noticed that I was actually surprisingly knowledgeable. I was in physics class today, and we were looking at um time, but like in um what's his name? Einstein's relativity. So it's super complicated, but some of the stuff I had seen before. So I was like, oh, I actually have like a bit of an understanding of this already. And I just found that really cool. And it did make me feel, oh, I'm actually really happy that I don't just spend my time on YouTube watching mindless, boring stuff, you know?
Meme videos.
Oh, I get enough memes on Instagram. I'm so glad I don't follow the generic pages though.
Memes are.
Yeah, I don't follow that anymore.
You follow girlies are.
Yeah, but that's just because some of them are just so funny.
A lot
Joke
of
Czar
them,
is definitely the best of the czars, though.
yeah. A lot of them, though, a lot of the like girlies are ones are like, so girls, your boyfriend is a bitch. You know, it's like, all
Or
right.
it's like, oh, he slept with this many people. I'm so done with boys, and I'm like, okay, sure. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Some of them, oh, I love gamer.mp4. That's definitely my favorite meme page. If you guys are into controversial slash, I guess just weird, but I find it super funny anyways. And just generally derpy content. Look no further than gamer.mp4 on Instagram. Very funny. And I feel like you would agree there, Christoph.
Some of his stuff is funny, but others I just don't understand. There's a few things that I'm like,
Oh yes,
hmm?
some of the videos they're like it's just random. Like some of them are just like a monkey running around in like super sped up, and I'm like, okay, but why did you post this?
I feel like that's like some form of joke. Like I feel like, yeah,
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we're just missing the point entirely.
yeah. Actually, we're the monkeys because we're too stupid to understand it.
Wow, my mind is blown.
I still remember that time I gave you a voice message. It was a few days ago, and basically I was watching this series on Netflix called Travelers. And what happens is basically an asteroid is coming to collide with Earth, and so humanity gets fucked over in the process. You know, like city gets destroyed, nuclear war, and everything goes to shit, and then everyone has to live in a bunker underground. So what they do is they go back in time and they take over people's bodies like a second or 3 seconds before they die, and they take over their body and they go in their body and then they lead their lives on, and they go around and they basically assemble this like beam that then zaps away the asteroid so it doesn't hit the earth. And then I was like, oh, what if like that actually has happened here? But we would never know because the people who prevented the asteroid would disappear because the timeline where you were created disappears. So it's like, our time could have been saved and we would never know.
And my answer was, I don't have time to be thinking about these kinds of things.
You don't
But
have time.
well,
Well,
it's just that I don't want to spend time. It's not that I don't have the time.
no, I just
I
find that
have lots of time.
whoa.
Though I do find that thinking about time and like how it works and all this, I'm like, wow, you know? Especially what with what we were talking about in today's physics lesson, where we were literally looking at, is time real? That was the oh, what's the word? Title. That was the title of the class. And so the teacher was going through all of these experiments that had been done that show that some of the fundamental building blocks of our world, like quantum mechanics, lots of it doesn't even need time to work, like the equations. And wow, like if they get some of that on like big scale, like universal equations that don't need time, that's mad. That would mean that time literally is just a construct of our animal instinct to help us understand what's going on.
Well, with a lot of things, I think the reason a lot of people like just don't in their equations have time is because they don't understand it. Like, there's no proper way to explain time. It's really just a concept that us humans have kind of created. You know?
True, and yet for like the original um Newtonian physics equations, like, oh, acceleration is equal to, what's the word? Final velocity minus initial velocity over time. You need the time factor, and like, oh, force is equal to a change in momentum, and like to get momentum you need time. But on the quantum mechanics, um, like for quarks and different microparticles and like subatomic particles, you actually don't need time to find out the momentum. Time doesn't matter on the microscopic level because the stuff just happens anyways, and you can um, observe it without needing time. And I found that really, it did kind of blow my mind in the class. I will not lie to you.
I was just thinking about this, but you know how sometimes you have really bad teachers and you end up being bad at a subject?
Oh, yes. Yes, I
Do you
do.
think it's very important to have really intelligent teachers, especially for things like maths and science and physics? Because the teacher needs to be smart to understand it, but they have to be even smarter to be able to understand it in a way that a teenager, a person who not exactly is has lesser intelligence, but just is less experienced, and it doesn't know how the world works as much. So it's in a sense you need someone really smart who can dumb it down and explain it better than the average scientist could. You know?
Yes, I do think that that's super amazing and super important. But also, more than that, I feel like you need a teacher as well who is passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like my physics teacher, he's great because he like gets us to ask questions and he sort of gets our minds working in a way that we don't usually use our brain. Let's be honest. Like I don't usually
most
use my brain like
well,
that.
let's be honest,
I
most
don't usually use
teenagers
my brain
most teenagers think in a very dumb way for most for the
for lots of things. Yeah, you're kind of right there. But definitely I don't usually use my brain like that. But then so he gets us to like sort of ask questions and like think in a different way and he said I'd rather explain it 20 times in 20 different ways than have you sitting here not getting it. And that really hit me as like, wow, this guy actually does care and he does want us to understand. It's not just, oh, I'm being paid to say this, so I'll say it.
yeah,
And he's like really passionate about it. So I really appreciate that, you know?
they definitely need that in this world, otherwise we're all kind of screwed.
Yup. Because I do have some teachers that are definitely teaching because they get paid to teach, not because they truly want to teach, you know?
Yeah, that kind of like it's like it's like why would you even choose the job? Why would you want to be a teacher if you don't even like properly want to be a teacher?
Big holidays.
Maybe it's just that people are like, yeah, let's be a teacher, and then halfway through they're like, oh
S
wait, this sucks.
For some people, it's a fallback.
Mm.
But also, some people, they do want to teach, but they don't have the qualities to teach. Like, some people are just not very inspiring. Or
Mm.
other people, like, for me, I know that I probably wouldn't be a good teacher because I think in the way that I think. And if I understand something, I'll understand it how I understand it. So I usually like to sort of think about something, but if someone understands by looking at, say, like a diagram, and I don't feel like I would be able to connect with everyone, you know? I feel like I would not be able to convey points because in some classes, if I understand something and then someone next to me goes, "Oh, Aina, how do you do this?" And then I try to explain it, and then they're just like, "Okay, I actually don't get it," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm actually just bad at explaining. Like,
Yeah,
it's it's completely my fault."
I get that too sometimes where I'm trying to like explain something, and the people are like, what? And it's just like, well, thanks.
I do feel like explanations have definitely gone down in lockdown though. Like teachers explaining things, some have definitely declined very
Well,
far
honestly, I feel like
during this lockdown.
I also just hate the school approach of like, I give you work, you do work. It's such a like, it's not, is that it? Like, that's like such a like factory type way of like churning out random, just the same kind of crap every year just to be consumed the same way again and again.
Yeah, I
And
do feel like they do need to sort of overhaul the whole like exams system.
oh yes.
'Cause like you can be super intelligent, but then not be good on a test. And like some types of thinking just can't really be put into a box, such as study really hard, learn everything,
Oh,
do it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think also just the way a school works is where it's like rows of chairs, everyone sits down, leader at the top. You get punished if you speak out of turn. It's like such a like
Mm,
army and factory worker type way of like, everyone is and it's like it is old because we're not in that world anymore where everyone does the same thing and it's very normal for a person to have like 10 different jobs in their lifetime, you know?
mm. Steiner gang, we didn't have to deal with that from the age of 4. I'm glad about that now. Like at the time, I was a bit like, really, but
Yeah.
And like even coming into first year, I was like, oh, I regret going to Steiner. But now, like, there were some drawbacks, let's be honest. But on the whole, it was a very good sort of basis, you know?
Definitely, because it wasn't so like where you're still a teenager, you know, you don't have to wear a uniform. I mean, we went to a forest every Friday to just fart around, to just do whatever we like. I mean,
Yeah,
did you get to do that in your school? Because I don't think so.
those are the questions that we need to ask the public, the viewers. Not that we have many, but hey, we appreciate you all.
I feel though like uh, even Steiner, like I've noticed that in the school I'm in now, even Steiner schools aren't that spectacularly different. You just usually have people
Oh
who are
no,
actually less trained, who are just more nicer, I guess, and you just have kind of like maybe less homework, but it's still rows of chairs, factory, you know. Maybe it's maybe just more lenient, and you definitely get a lot more like space to do whatever the fuck you like, and you're more appreciated and accepted. But it's still very like this is how it is. You make
ordered.
work,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
That's why I think education is like the baseline for everything. If you get the education of a child right, they're gonna turn out like people are like, oh yeah, you can have an IQ of 150 or 160 or I think 180, which is like the highest ever recorded.
Well, the highest ever is 201, but that was like,
Einstein or something.
no, I think he only had like 165.
Oh wow.
No, but usually people with super high IQs have something like Asperger's or like autism
Yeah, because it's like an anomaly.
because, mm,
But
and even if you don't, often it's hard to like be sociable and like sort of deal with other people because you're so intelligent that everyone else seems stupid. And
yeah.
then often like these child prodigies, they go to college like super young and they never really get to have a childhood, you know?
Well, with some of them also people think they're retarded or like something like that for a while. Like yeah, Einstein, I think he didn't talk for till he was 7. People thought he was a mute.
Yeah, people thought, yeah, he was mute, and they were like, and then he was like failing maths because he was always trying to do it a different way.
Yeah. And so, but I think you need to put the smartest people out there and make them work on a new education system that can be put like anywhere in the world. Because I feel like if you educate someone the right way and you get to find out their character and stuff, they could do like really cool things just because they're educated
Mm,
right. You know, and obviously your childhood affects you. You know, if you have bad parents, that
yeah,
that's your social life
that's
down
going
the
to be an
drain
issue.
because you don't know how to interact with people. So
Well, obviously you can learn, it's just more
yeah,
difficult.
and so I think like it's quite important for definitely like school is definitely way more important than how people see it really because it's basically what how our society is built in the end. You know, like people are like, oh, you know, racism, stop, you know, being homophobic, and yeah, okay, your parents can only do so much. Maybe you should learn that
Teach it
in
in school.
school, not in a way of don't be homophobic. Just you know, in biology, they should describe like what a gay person is or a transgender. They should teach you that. They should be like, so a transgender is a person who doesn't feel comfortable in their body, so on and so on. And there's obviously 1,000 different variations. And then you know, a gay person is someone who feels you know these feelings of affection for
Attraction.
their own gender,
Yeah.
and so people understand it in their head as well. They're not they don't never you know never meet someone until it's like later, and then it's weird.
And also, I feel like in like sex ed, you only ever learn about like straight sex,
Yeah,
you know? And like, okay, I'm not gay, I don't need to know. But for someone who wants to have a different type of thing going on, whether you're gay, you're bi, you're transgender, whatever. But if you want to do something different, you're gonna have to look to other places to learn. And I feel like if they just taught that in school and like had less stigma about it, and there was like less sort of prejudice from the start, it would be easier for these people, and these people would feel less sort of disaffected, you know?
Yeah. And also, I feel like I don't know. Do your school? I know your school did a thing where it was like team building or something. They
Yep.
definitely should do something where it's like culture. So basically, you have like it's like something like that, but everyone talks about the culture, their country they're from, what beliefs, what religions they have. You know, they talk more about themselves. Maybe a bit like a not a psychology class, but basically, you know, so you understand. Oh, yeah, all these people are different and stuff. You know, and you're
Mm.
like, oh, she's Muslim, raw. Oh, she's wherever from. You know, it's like chill out.
Be accepting. Woo.
Everyone's the same in the
But
end in the aspect of they're human and they have rights.
though, like, this may be slightly controversial, but I do feel like it is almost difficult for like a Caucasian person to sort of show their like cultural identity because for so long, let's be honest, white people have been oppressing everyone else. It's an issue. It's always been an issue. It's not good. And then there's been a lot more sort of spotlight on other cultures that if a white person speaks out like, "Oh, this is my culture," um, there's often like even some hate. And like I was watching this documentary a few months ago about this primary school. It was during the summer, so it was around the whole huge protests for Black Lives Matter, like you were saying, with the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah,
And it was the school that tried to solve racism.
totally.
So what they did was they had like it was a primary school, and they all had to bring in something from their culture and talk about it. And the people from other cultures, so like black people, people from Africa, people from Asia, people from like Italy and Greece, they brought in something and talked about it and talked about their culture. But then the people who were from England and their parents were from England, they actually found it really difficult because, like, obviously I'm not from Britain, I'm from Ireland, but it's kind of similar. Like, we don't really have so much cultural identity. Like, we have our certain festivals, but often we don't put as much sort of emphasis on them on the world stage. Like, obviously Ireland has St. Patrick's
Conor
Day,
McGregor as
but that's
well.
kind of the only
He's a dice. He
I don't feel like he's
oh,
such
he
an
definitely
Irish
he
legend.
is.
Like
He is
obviously
for like
he
for the rest.
is Irish and he's on the world stage, but I don't feel like he's a good sort of
No, no,
representation of
no. But
what
he's
Ireland is.
definitely like there, and I think also though it's just because Ireland is kind of small, but it has a history. Maybe we shouldn't,
It
squash it into
does.
people's brains like they do in every school. That's also a thing where the only
Oh, of
history
course.
you can
Oh,
learn is Irish, which is awful.
Irish
But
history.
like,
It's like, oh, I
it's like
continue.
in a sense, Ireland has a culture, but I think that one of the reasons Ireland doesn't have such. I think England they have a big culture. They have so much to talk about, But I think Ireland definitely has the problem of people aren't very, stuck to their own culture here. Like Irish is that painful subject for most people. That's just you have to learn it and it's garbage and it gives you more points in college, even though it doesn't contribute to if you're doing engineering or maths, like Irish, more points,
Mm.
go. Wow. It's like what?
It's not actually more points. It's maths that's more points. Irish is
No,
normal
Irish
points.
gives you more points if you
It
do
doesn't.
it as a thing for your leaving cert, you get more points.
Yeah, it's the same amount of points as any other
Oh, I thought you
subject.
got more points.
It's maths. Maths gives you
Or
25
maybe
more
you get more
points.
points in
So
college
if
for it. I don't
you,
know.
I don't know,
But basically, the point is that
but it's that it's a core.
yeah, it's
Like it's the one that you have
yeah.
to do,
I
no
think
matter
I think
what.
that's silly. You should learn like
It's derpy. You should learn what you
yeah,
want
I
to
know,
learn.
but there should be other languages too. You know?
Well, we do learn other languages, but we don't learn other languages from primary school. And another thing is, Irish is just taught badly. Like the way they do it, as like it's all about writing, and you have to learn the comprehension, you have to
Yeah.
learn the essay. And I'm like, okay, but maybe if we had it as a spoken subject, and it was all just talking, we would actually learn it and be able to talk it. And I feel like if the exam was just less sort of shoved down your throat.
Yeah, but also, wait, back to the whole like culture thing. Like
Oh yeah,
the reason
continue.
Ireland really struggles there is because it's like this country's only been around for like 100 years, less.
Yeah,
But like, well, the country itself has existed obviously for thousands of years, but like this whole being modern has only kind of happened now. Like even in the
yeah.
1990s, it was quite like set back here and it wasn't going that well and and then there was a whole economic crash again and it's like only now do people become modern and so a lot of media as well showcases America, so let's just be like the Americans, be modern and
Oh yeah.
be all oh yeah phone, well not phone but social media click 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 and like burgers and McDonald's, Apple, all these American things coming over here. And there's no problem with that. It's fine. That's businesses. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they like. That's normal. But the fact that then we completely just absorb that, and then the whole like, of course there are Irish aspects, like the whole thing with farmers. Oh my god, there's thousands of them here, but it's still so like the culture does kind of get buried, especially with the younger generation compared to in other countries where they're like, I think it's especially in France, they're really like, we are the French, you know?
Yeah. Also, another thing is like I'm not trying to diss the British here, but like the Irish culture did kind of get put on pause by by the British occupation for 800 years on the down low. Like most of Irish culture was made illegal, and the reason we speak English is because you guessed it, English occupation. Whoop whoop. We were the original country that England colonized.
Well,
Before they went to Africa, they came to Ireland.
we're their neighbors. You are, haha.
Yeah, of course, we're the closest, we're the easiest to pillage and raid.
Exactly.
First we had the Vikings, but at least the Vikings
The,
left.
the Vikings actually came and traded. Everyone says that they came and raided and raped everything, but in reality, they did a lot
Well,
of
it
trading.
depends which clan.
Obviously, the clans, but
Yeah, lots traded. Lots also like married Irish women and settled down, and they're just part of the Irish culture. Like I know my mom's family are descended from
oh wow.
Vikings. England when they raid Ireland for not being Catholic. England when they come back in 400 years and raid Ireland for being too Catholic.
Ireland when they raid England because why not?
Oh wait, that never
Imagine that
happened.
did. That'd be hilarious.
That would be so derpy. Us with our 4 million population, them with their 64
Yeah.
million population.
No, I feel like Ireland. Yeah.
I do. Oh
No,
yeah, continue.
you.
Okay. I do feel like, yeah, the North is like the North-South divide with Brexit. It's going to become a lot more of an issue, though.
Well, it's funny because even like Northern Ireland wants to be in the EU.
Yep. And yet, and yet, the leading party is all boots, boots. They were like, oh, our people voted against it. Well, we're still gonna like they joined the coalition with the Tory party, and they became one of the driving forces in Brexit. And another thing is, the Republican Party in the North, Sinn Féin, they refused to take their seat as like a sort of protest against British politics, and that's fine, sure, bit of a dick move, but whatever. What oofs me out is that if they had been a part of British politics back in 2016 or 2015 when they were doing all the canvassing for Brexit, they could have brought attention to the fact that this will be an issue in Northern Ireland. There will be civil unrest in Northern Ireland because the sort of like Catholic and like nationalist people, because that's how the divide is. Catholic is usually nationalist and Protestant is usually unionist because that's just how the divide
Hail
is,
the
sadly.
Union. What Union?
United Kingdom, bruh. Um, but yeah, those people who live in the north are now going to be, they're going to feel disenfranchised because they voted to stay, and yet they still have to deal with the bullshit that England and Wales shoved down their throat of being forced to leave, and now they're going to have to deal with all the like taxes and tariffs and all of the fishing embargoes. Ugh, that's so derpy. Um, and all of that. So, and it's the same in Scotland as well. Now, obviously, Scotland, there's less violence, like over the border of Scotland and England. Like, I don't think they had very much. Now,
The
I'm
War
not
of the
sure.
Roses be
This is
like.
just me speculating. Yeah, true. But that was between the two royal families, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. True, there was the Queen of the Scots. But yeah. Anyway, I think we're going a bit off topic here, talking about Brexit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit, Don't mind us. Um. Well, yeah, lockdown, Star Wars, Yoda memes. Ireland's first TikTok house.
Wow. Oh, Goat House, Goat House. I'm sad Ryan left, but also,
Hey, Ryan.
let's be honest, I didn't really watch much of Ryan's stuff
He
when
didn't
he was
upload
there
that much.
because I don't
His
actually have
uploads went
TikTok.
down the drain.
Yeah,
He just didn't.
and on YouTube is where I follow him, and on Instagram, and his uploads, he's hardly ever uploads on YouTube these days.
Yeah, he uploads on TikTok. No, because he actually said that he would prefer to use TikTok, and it makes sense because it's his kind of platform, short skits.
Short skits, and also he has such a bigger sort of fan
Definitely.
base there.
Nah, but yeah.
Also, oh, continue. No, I was just talking on my arse.
Well, also like with the rest, like I think because I watched for a while another guy in that house, Rob Zujan. He was the main like YouTube guy. He uploaded like nearly every day, and he's kind of like a workouty boy. He moved country. He's like lives somewhere else now, but I think because most of the time he needed a cameraman, so then Ryan would just be the cameraman for everyone. You know.
That's a little bit sad then, because he then has to neglect
Well,
his own
no, not
fans, you
really,
know?
because in most of the TikToks and most of the videos, then they would at him. And considering there was that one TikTok couple that have like 5 million on TikTok, that means a lot of clout. Literally just by being
That's
in
true.
a video for 5 seconds, you know.
Mr.
So it's
Filmer
like,
dude.
or if like sometimes he'd be in TikTok for the other people, because the ones who I think
Yeah.
really blew up were but there were of course obviously the one couple, the Irish guy, and then the other one she's like Spanish. I'm pretty sure you've seen her. Their stuff is kind of cringy, but then there's this.
I only saw them in
Then there's like
Brian Mars
these
video.
three
Other than that,
girls. I
nothing.
forget their names. They're all from Ireland. So they're the main like Irish like TikToky ones, and obviously they're the ones that do all the dances, you know. But
Because Ryan is just different, you know. He has a
completely
different
different,
style.
yeah,
He didn't really fit
definitely.
in as much, you know. And also most of them were from the south side of Dublin and he was from
Oh,
the
poor
north side.
guy. No, no, the couple guy, he was actually from North Side as well. And
Oh
they weren't
fun.
actually from South Side because most of them didn't live. Like one of them, I forget her name. She's like blonde and she's really young. She comes from Carlow, I think. Yeah, which is like I think in the
Oh
middle of
wow.
nowhere. So, but
Yeah,
then she has
it
like a
is in the
big
middle of nowhere. It's like
yeah. So she has then
northern-ish,
a
but
quite big following, and it's obviously like you live nowhere. So what else are you gonna do besides TikTok? And then she's like, I guess I'm not gonna like talk about people's looks. It's weird to judge people, but I would say she's good looking on an average thing. So I think you know, whip out the average, American style dance, hit the whoa and all that. I, well, boom, there you go, TikTok money.
yup. And exactly that. Copying the American style, copying the
But
dances. It's like, bro, if you're gonna make an Irish creator house, you might as well create Irish content.
I guess, but it's more just creators get together and do stuff. There's other house now that are way crazier,
I know, of
but
course.
I forget their
Oh,
name. But I know that they go around in helicopters and stuff, or they had them in one video.
well,
It
rich.
was a company who funded them though, and it's obviously leased cars, leased them for one day. Lease the Lambo for $1,000 for the day, and that's it. I mean, $1,000 is still a lot in Ireland, but
Accidentally crashes Lambo, has
millions,
to
no.
pay
But
like
but
five,
basically,
yeah.
like I think it is kind of cool that like someone who would really end up having some mediocre job or having to be forced to move to Dublin just kind of goes, I'm gonna do some dances on TikTok. Now I make my own money. And especially in
I'm a
lockdown, it's like the
dance.
best job to have. Although
And
it does get
Ryan, oh,
complicated then though
continue.
with
Yeah.
like with that what was that payment for when you lost your job because your job's online. I don't think the government cares.
Oh, yeah, the PUP. Pandemic Unemployment
Mm.
Payment.
Yeah. So Ryan, I think I don't know. I'm kind of like I hope he moves out though. I'm pretty sure he still lives with his mom or something because it's not his own house that he lives in. So
I couldn't tell you. But I do feel like his style definitely fitted with pandemic
definitely.
time because he makes his skits, but all of his characters are just him wearing different
I mean,
clothes.
everyone else did that. Everyone like I've seen so many TikTok skits like that, except his are like high quality.
I
Oh,
know.
like his a few. I remember when I found him first. Like his videos are so high quality. Like he's there talking. He's got the good audio. He's got the good video. Everything is like oh, the editing is good, and it's such good quality compared to like other guys who just get a green screen and just mush it, and it looks awful. You know?
And also, I like the way he has so many more characters. Most people only have like maybe two or three characters
Yeah.
in their skits. He has like four or five, and in that one where it was like, oh, meet another
Ah,
school
yeah.
on your school trip, he had like I
He
think
did.
eight
He
or
did.
nine
Yeah, he had the
characters
three
in
main
that.
guys. So him,
And
he has him,
three
and
main
then
guys,
the weird
him,
nerdy guy,
and then the
and then
nerd
Stio.
friend, the like boosh boosh.
Stio,
Oh, I
tight
love
jacket.
Stio. No, and then he also had his other friend who wore the red jumper, who was
Well,
kind of a bit
no,
irrelevant. And then he had like the four or five guys from the other school
no, there's
from
like seven of them.
Southside, and then they beat the shit out of
There's
him.
seven of them. There's like the
Really?
boxier. There's loads of them. Because remember how there's the boxer, and then at
So
the very
many,
end
yeah.
there's the pussy guy who's at the very back. He's like, "Ah, don't hit me,"
Yeah. Oh man, the funniest one was when it was like the derpy guy who always wears the Rick and Morty t-shirt,
Yeah,
the yellow
yeah.
guy, nerd
It's like,
man. And then he's like he does he does the like roundhouse kick. And then it's like, hey, where'd you learn that? And he's like, Mortal Kombat.
yeah. No, but then it's really funny because he punches him before that. It's like, what was that, man? You slap like a bitch, you know. And it's like, no, I
Oh, so
prefer
derpy.
how he has a
Oh,
lot of
or
characters
yeah,
though. Like in the other ones, he has more main characters. Like he has basically just his friends.
the
The test wasn't
sesh.
that good. I preferred the like. There's one where it's like if when someone commits suicide during an exam or something. Oh, it's quite funny,
Oh, really?
but
I haven't seen that
like
one.
I like how he has all these different characters. Oh, especially he did this one. It's really short. It's like, oh man, we ran out of toilet paper during quarantine, and then his friend is there. What is like, oh, I gotta go wash my hands. Like, yeah, yeah. And then he notices his friend, him obviously again, is washing brown off his hands. It's like, oh, did you wipe with your hand? And obviously it's just a tella, but it's really funny.
Oh,
And on his Instagram, he even posted, "I'm one of those real
oh.
movie makers. My movies, we all use realistic and real props." So obviously it's not poop, but it's funny.
It's very funny.
Or he did one where he did a Q&A on YouTube, and even then he couldn't let his fingers off the little skits. Like he made the one where it's like, "Oh, why do you have a brother?" Because someone thought he has a brother who looks like him because that he shaved his beard. And then it's like,
Yeah,
"Hey man, they think I have a brother."
yeah.
And then he like leans back, and it goes to him gaming at the at the TV, and it's like, "Oh, fucking idiots! Of course they don't have a brother." It's really funny.
I know. I love it. I love it. It must take him like a good few
Or
weeks to make
hours,
each
yeah.
skit, because, well, no, because like he can film half of it and then another
No, he
half of it
writes it
and then
out.
another, well,
What you do
half of
is
it and then another section. Obviously, he writes it out, but like with the beard, right? You gotta grow out your beard, but then you can film like sections for like 5 different
I
skits
I
when you
don't
have
think
your
he does
beard, and
that.
then you shave it a bit. Oh
Maybe,
wow,
but
well then it must take ages
maybe he does
regrowing the
that if he has a
beard.
big plan of skits. But I think for most of the time, what he just does is he acts the first part of this thing with his beard, and then he shaves it, and then he acts the rest, and then he edits it. And before, obviously, he writes it down in sequence.
And then while he's doing that, he just yeah,
Well,
continues growing
he
his
doesn't
beard
have his
while he's
beard
doing
that
the
much.
editing. No, it's just sort of like a little bit of like a scruffy sort of stubble.
Yeah, so the easiest,
That's
yeah,
for
but
like
that's the
Steo
easiest
though.
thing he does is just change, like, put on a cap, put on a jumper.
Yeah, he puts on the
It's just a
different
showcasing of
puts
all
on
the
the
colored
different jumper,
jumpers he has.
or if you're Steo, gotta put on that pro size
It's
jacket.
way too small. 4 a.m. / the jacket was too small.
For reference, guys, myself and Christoph during like the summer when all the lockdowns sort of like lifted and it was just chill because there was like 5 cases a day. Um, we met up. Christoph came over to my house and then we cycled to a lake. And it was like 4 a.m. We watched the sunrise. It was all cool. And then we took photos. And Christoph was wearing my jacket that I've had for like 2 years. And because Christoph is like bulkier than me, and my jacket was too small for me, Christoph was looking a bit like Steo.
Oh, yeah.
It was quite derpy. Oh, I wish this was a video podcast because I was about to like act
Well, I
out
mean,
something.
it would be if there was
Uh,
no, quarantine.
Quarantine, whoop whoop. Let's hope we can get back to normal life soon, and we can get some
I would really love to do
chats
something
going.
like in a. I know this sounds like copying, but in a Joe Rogan esque type, where we have like a table in the middle, and then we're on both sides just talking.
Yeah, and also I feel like that would be good because, firstly, obviously you can see both of us, but also there's no need for like that much like sort of coordination because we've had times where there's a little bit of a pause and then we both start talking and then we're like, oh no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. And I feel like if you're in the room, you can definitely
Yeah,
judge off like
definitely.
body language, like what's happening.
But we always have this weird thing of where we're like, no, 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 and it's like,
No, you,
no, no, no.
no,
But
you,
like, see
no,
that, like I
you.
just did it. It's like, no, 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 my thing. And it's like, oh.
Oh, or just beginning a sentence with, yeah, no, but like I used to do that all the time. Same with starting with, oh yeah, but, or and, or exactly, I'm saying it now. Or sometimes I just start a sentence like, or
I
even though there was
remember,
no other
I remember, I'd
like.
always say lyrically in like primary, but like lyrically, it's not. I don't think it's even a word. Like, I
It's
think
not
it
a
is in
word.
German, but well, that's German. Lyrically. So yeah. I wonder though,
Uh,
how do you trace my accent? I don't exactly sound Irish because I don't say like all the time. Like,
but you also don't sound. You do not sound Deutsche.
yeah,
You
I
know.
come from the Deutschland,
Not that would not.
and my English is not very good. So I hope you can help
Oh,
me
Christoph.
pronouncing the pronouns. Yeah.
That was so derpy because when you said, "I hope you can help me," you sounded like you were trying to do
All
a farmer accent.
right there,
It was
lads.
very funny.
Right there,
Oh,
lads. On Saturday, I'll be coming over and helping me sort out the cattle. Their ears need to be tagged.
you sound
Arr!
like a pirate, my dude.
Arr, matey! I've got
Arr, me
scurvy.
hearties. Oh, bro. That's not healthy. You should get that checked out.
You don't have a doctor on
Oh,
board.
wow. We've been here for over
Yeah.
an hour.
Well, are we going to be the clock checkers and be like, "Yeah, I think that's us done for tonight"?
Well, it depends if we've enough
And then
shite said. Guys, comment down below if we
if
have
you
enough
get to
shite
this
said.
part, please just tell us how like dumb we are.
If you get to this part, yeah, please do comment. It doesn't even need to be anything interesting. It can just be hello or I got there. Now what?
We wasted your time. Wasted an hour of your life. How does that make you feel?
Hey, maybe people like what we're saying, or
Meanwhile,
maybe
people.
people like us.
mean-
We would appreciate either. We honestly, Christoph, we would even appreciate hate comments because at least it's comments. At least it's
What would they
comments.
hate on? We're like kids. Well, not kids. We're like teenagers. We're like, it's like what a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Like, how sad does that make you look? It's like those people who go on a streamer who has like viewers, and they're like, "Oh, your stream is so shit. You have like no viewers." And then the streamer's like, "I just like doing it for fun." Like, "Oh, fuck you, you shit." It's like, why are you so aggressive? You
it's
clicked
like
the stream. You
it's
clicked
like
it.
oh, of course. That's another thing that annoys me when people are like sort of getting offended by things that they chose. You're like, oh, it's like I support Trump, and then people are dissing Trump, and then you're like, yeah, you're getting offended, but you follow him, and he's a terrible person. So you gotta be prepared to deal with the flack.
Flak incoming. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh,
Wow,
I saw the
I didn't mean
funniest
that
thing
kind of flack.
a few days ago. Impulsive, and
I don't
actually you
follow, but
do
okay.
our Instagram and our YouTube follow them. But yeah,
Oh, our
basically,
Instagram and our YouTube do follow them. Well, I don't. Okay, I don't watch him.
I don't actually watch them that much, but I subscribe to these guys called Love Live Serve, and they did the funniest like parody of the Impulsive podcast, and it's hilarious because basically Logan is moving to Puerto Rico, and it's like, yeah, I think his friend who's like a retired, like he's an ex drug addict and everything. It's like, yeah, so I'm an ex drug addict and I'm relatable. And that's my story. And he's been here long enough so I can I have enough subscribers now. And then his friend's like, yeah, but what? I've just been on for like 2 episodes, like the third host guy. And it's just really funny. It's like, yeah, well, no one cares, George. Screw you. And it's just a really funny parody. And I really hope they
I'm
see
still.
it. I really hope that
Oh
the
yeah.
actual Impulsive people see that and talk about it in the next episode because it'd be funny.
I'm still laughing that you said Mike was, and I quote, "He retired
Well,
drug
yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I retired from my life
Well,
of
quit,
taking
but
drugs.
I find his story
Yeah,
the most
fitting,
impressive,
but
though. Like,
that you were
he
able
wrote
to
a whole
come
book
back from
about it,
that, yeah.
but like, I find him the most like epic because he's like 35, and it's like even at that stage, your life can't be over. If you're still alive, you can still change it.
Yeah. Inspirational guys.
Inspo guys, go out there and start taking drugs for 10 years. What? No. Sorry, guys.
Oh no, don't do that. Pro move, don't do that, and don't report us for it, because that would be a bit bad.
Your channel has been deleted.
But when Bushka got deleted,
you know what I
big
do
oof.
if they delete our YouTube channel? Joke's on you. I have it all on the USB stick. Let's just make a new account.
Funny, I also have it all. I have it all saved to the cloud here on Anchor, so it's all good.
I don't think.
Time to make a new YouTube account.
I don't think that would happen. I don't really think anyone would be so pooed at that they just like. Because you need a thing like 1,000, 2,000. Like you need a big hefty sum of people to be like, yeah, this thing is bad. To get it deleted. You can get your ads taken away, but they can't like completely, delete your thing.
Yeah, we don't have enough people for it to warrant being reported. Like even if every single person reports this, I doubt it'll be taken down. Hey guys, do not test that. Do not test that.
Hey,
I do not
I have a better
to get
thing
reported
to
like 50 times.
Test the
well, imagine if there were
subscribe
50 people. Oh. I feel like that would be great. Yeah. See that red button? I wonder what this red button do.
Yeah. I think like Pornhub has a Twitter account, so that's a bit. Whew. But it just means that Twitter doesn't care. It's for all those political arguments to start, Trump.
When Trump gets taken off.
I saw this skit where Trumps are like, "Oh, what are you doing, man?" And his friend's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just tweeting on Twitter." It's like, "Oh, cool, man. Can I have your phone?" "No, sorry, I'm using it." Then he goes to the next guy. "Hey, man, can I use your phone?" It's like, "Nah, sorry. I'm posting on Instagram or something." And then it's like he goes over to Biden and he's like, "Hey, man, can I use your phone?" And then Biden gives him like an old phone, that's plugged into the wall, has the keyboard and the receiver and everything. And it's like, rip.
Oh man, even Pornhub banned him, I think. I think I saw somewhere that Pornhub banned him. Oh no, when you try to ban TikTok, but then TikTok bans you. He literally got banned off
Trump?
TikTok.
How? He had an account?
Yeah. Trump. Possibly. I feel like they just banned his IP though.
He could
just for the jokes.
Do it on his phone or something.
I don't know. It's still funny though, because he's all hating on TikTok, and then TikTok are like, "Uno reverse card."
You think you can China us? We will China you. Seeing TikTok is actually Chinese.
It is actually Chinese, yeah. Bite dance. Bite
Girl with a
media.
little waist and a big bank. Girl with a little waist and a small bank.
You just
And that's
butchered that song.
okay.
You
I've seen too.
butchered
I've
that
seen too many
song.
of those, unfortunately.
You butchered that song though. You missed out the entire small waist with a
No, see,
pretty
the
face
actual
and a
song
big
is so
bank.
much better until
It's
that
like
part. Loki though, the best ones though are like they're the most common on my feed actually. I mean, once my feed really like the algorithm knew who, Christoph was and what Christoph watches, it just fed me so many like girl with a little waist and a big bank, and the boyfriend walks in and shows his ass. Oh, it's great. It's really funny. Or like there's one where
so
there's
Christoph
one
likes
where
boyfriend
the girlfriend's
ads.
about to do it, and then the boyfriend just pushes her off the camera and starts twerking. It's like, oh,
Oh, I saw this one where the girl was about to do it, and then he just like the boyfriend just walks in and just lifts her
I
straight
think
up
I've seen that
and
one.
just
Yeah.
walks out of the shot, and then the entire thing just keeps playing, and then you hear a door slam, and then the boyfriend just walks back into shot, and he goes, "Sorry."
Not for you.
Ooh.
I find it sad though that like that's how TikTok rolls. Twerk, 2 million likes. Guy posts interesting video that is actually knowledgeable and fun. 1 view. It's like, come on, guys. Can't all be watching fucking twerk shite, fucking ass all the time. Like, come on. It disappoints me.
Oh, that reminds me of this. It's like the opposite, obviously, but it reminds me of this guy who he was on Reddit and he was like, "Hey yo, I need a girlfriend. Any of y'all good with camera equipment?" And then she was like, "Yo, you want to shoot a porno? I'm down." And then he was like, "Nah, I meant at the skate park, bro." And then it was like, it was like, I don't need sex. I need skate
Oh, I
clubs.
saw another thing and it woed me that it's like a TikToker who he's a porn star and he acts like on Pornhub and he ticks like he shows like his day
Oh wow.
and it's so weird and then they like sit there
Oh
and they
wow.
decide like where are they gonna put like to what website and it's like oh, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad that my TikTok like for you page is mostly just you've probably seen one or two of them. They're these Minecraft videos where the video is someone doing parkour and then it's like some kind of like a brain fuck thing. It's like I forget the certain ones you get and he's talking, the music is playing in the background, and it's like, turns out aliens are real. This is why. Blah, 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 and then he explains his thing. And it's like it's just really funny because then someone did a parody where it's like to do with a vegetable, and then he's like, actually, that video is incorrect because you explained it wrong, but it is true that you do share 50% of your DNA with a banana, and that's a vegetable. And then it's like, come on.
Bananas are
They
actually
actually are. Damn.
berries.
What?
I know. It's so derpy. Um, yeah. Oh wow, I still need to design a USB and it's due tomorrow. So maybe I should
I need to
stop this
finish
because
a newspaper essay for my
casually
course
11.
that's due yesterday.
Wow, we're just professional procrastinators. Oh wow. Wow, we are terrible at
Exactly.
this.
So
Guys, we
please
shouldn't have even been
subscribe.
doing this
We're
podcast
losing our
episode
results
today.
here.
Please subscribe.
No, literally,
We're
like with the
losing
course,
our
it's like
lives.
every day you lose a certain amount of marks that you don't hand it in. But it's cool because I have most of it done. So I just need to finish it.
Well, then do it in an hour
Well,
and
no,
send
see,
it
the thing
in
is, the
before the
teacher
end of
probably
the
goes to
day.
sleep by then, so they'll just turn on their computer tomorrow and be like, "Okay."
I know, but it'll say that you sent it in beforehand, so it's fine. You have 1 hour. Do it.
Shit.
I believe in you.
Anyway,
And that'll be all for
remember
tonight.
to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fragging, and follow our Instagram, the one and only Fragging.